So we've got two covenants here. And as we know, there's a first covenant, and we'll see there's a second covenant. And actually, the second covenant is a better covenant. So, in what way is it better? And he's the mediator. He's the one who brings this about, because obviously the mediator brings about a result when he brings these two groups together. And this better covenant is established on better promises. So what are these promises? What is this covenant all about? Hebrews 9:15. And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament. So we've got the first, or the old, let's say, as compared to this new covenant, that for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. So here we have the New Testament, the Old Testament, and the First Testament and the Second Testament. This verse we're going to spend a little bit of time in just a minute. But there's one important point that I want to mention here. Okay, well, there are two. Actually, there are numerous points in this verse, but here we just saw there are better promises, and here we see what that better promise is. The better promise is eternal inheritance, because the first testament, the first covenant, it was not eternal inheritance. It was the inheritance of the land. It was a physical inheritance that is earthly. Whereas here now we have the promise of an eternal inheritance. We'll see what that eternal inheritance is. Now, I also want to add, and this is something important, they which are called. So we don't come to God. This is something very, very fundamental. And of course, it's in one sense, it's another subject. But I'm just bringing it up here because he's the mediator between two groups, God on one side, humans on the other. But which humans? Is it every single human? Well, as a matter of fact, it is every single human, but everyone has to be called. They which are called might receive. So we have to understand what a calling is. And if we get to the particular verse later on, we're going to see that not everybody is called at the same time. And we won't get into it today because we're not going to have the time, and because it's not necessarily part of the questions that are involved here.
Uncover the mystery of Adam and Eve's nakedness. Unravel the ambiguous connection between the Hebrew term for naked and the serpent's subtlety. Join us for this free mini-course and gain a profound new perspective on biblical Hebrew. TheExplanation.com/naked